Welcome to our demo for CR Institute, the Learning Management System for Central Reach. Today, we're going to go through all that is accessible to individuals or organizations that sign up for CR Institute. So we're going to go through the admin side of the platform, and then we will also hop over to the learner side of the platform to show you all the features that are included. The first area we're going to navigate to is our sublicenses. When you look at the sublicenses, what you are going to see is that they can be customized to match the needs of the organization. For example, if your organization has a lot of different locations that need various trainings, you could also just put in different roles. If you don't have a lot of different locations, either way is completely fine. It's completely customizable. We use these sublicenses to provision content. So if a clinic in Detroit that has my BCBAs, I can come in here. I can say I want them to have all CEU content. Maybe I have some specific trainings that are specific to Detroit. I can put those in here either via content, which is individual courses, learning paths, which are pieces of content strung together, or I can provision entire content tags so that it will include all content with those tags. So this is the way that we are provisioning content. If we go down to our courses here under all courses, what you're going to see is all the content that you have access to for your CR Institute subscription. So this is going to include over 250 CEUs. It's going to include our clinical trainings that are not quite CEU level. It's going to include those compliance and regulatory courses such as HIPAA, bloodborne pathogens, things like that. It's also going to include all of the software trainings on how to use Central Reach Enterprise. So if you are an enterprise customer, those trainings will be included as well. If you subscribe and have assessments for essentials, those trainings would also be included here. We can filter by particular tags. So if you wanted to know what's in our CEUs, you can see there's 294 CEUs that are tagged here and available to your staff. You can go ahead and look at that list here. You can preview any of those courses. So as an admin, you do not have to go through and take those courses. You can certainly preview and see what's in that content. Same thing if you wanted to filter by a type of course. So maybe it's a course or it's a learning path, a micro course. You can filter by those so that you can easily search for the content that you're looking for in our library. You also have the ability to add new content. So it will guide you through this experience. So how long will your learning experience be? This is showing all the options. You can say it'll be short. Maybe I want to use a micro course where I jump right into adding the pages that I want in my course rather than what we see in a full course, which gives you the option to add sections and lessons and is designed more for those courses that are going to be longer in nature. For those short courses, you also see articles and videos. Those are exactly as they sound. It is simply putting a video in the system or an article. You cannot add quizzes and tests to those. You cannot add additional content to those. You cannot put certificates on those. So you do have the ability to decide what content you want to build in here. If I'm going to build a micro course, meaning I just want to get right to adding those different page types that I have, I can do that here. I can add a quick name, quick demo will be our name today. And I can jump right into what that course is going to look like. So you can see here, I have over 27 different page types I can choose from and build out. The system does prompt me on what those page types will look like and what's included there. I can also update this design and put images on there. I can add completion criteria, such as my own certificate on there, things like that. I can then get that quickly added to those sublicenses that I showed you at the beginning of this demo. We can hop back here and say, hey, now my clinic here, I want to go ahead and add my new course, and I can add that here, my quick demo, and click save. Now anyone in that sublicense will have access to that. I can also come in and notify my learners that I have added that training for them. So I could email my Detroit group here and just say, hey, a new course was added for you. Please jump in and take it. And you can customize the email to them there. In addition, with being able to build your own courses, You can also build your own learning path. So with learning paths, you're able to string individual courses together into a certain path, making it easier to get learners through a group of training, such as onboarding or things like that. When you're building out the learning path, you will have the ability to choose from our content that has been made available to your portal, or you can also add in your own content that you have created. You have the different milestones you can add. So maybe this is week 1 training that I'm adding here. I can add in, again, as I was mentioning, I'm going to add in the HIPAA training from CR Institute here to this particular path that I'm creating. And then I can also add that quick demo course that I created. You can really make that a hybrid if you want. With our learning path, you can set a due date. And I can say that this is a rolling due date and it will be due every 30 days. So when it's assigned to a staff, their 30-day timer starts here. So I can set that up. I can add my completion criteria to it, design, and all those things. I can now directly assign this to staff, and I can do that in a couple ways. I can go to my learners here, and I would say, okay, I want Heather Morton to have this course. I'm going to go to access. I'm going to go down to learning paths. You can see there's a lot of trainings in there, and I'm going to take that and say add content. When I do that, content now shows for the learner right here, and it's labeled as not started, but this means it's assigned. So this learner, when they log into their account, is going to see this learning path under their learning path tab, and they're going to see a due date associated with that. So that makes it really nice and easy for them to know what they need to do. You can also assign individual courses. So I could select a course here to give to a learner. And again, now I'm assigning it. When I'm adding them to the sub-licenses, I'm provisioning it. When I'm coming here, I'm assigning it. Under our learners, this is how we're going to get our learners into the system. So I can add a learner one by one. I can also bulk import learners. If I have learners that are already in the system that I want to bulk assign a learning path to, I'm also able to do that via the bulk import. So I would upload a CSV. I will say this course is not started. I would list that in the CSV, and then I would select the learning path or learning paths that I want to assign in bulk. And you can do that after learners have been imported into the system. It makes it really nice to quickly assign content to your staff, and also allows you to trigger that due date for them. In addition, you can also put on notifications to those learning paths. So when I'm in my learning path here under manage learner notifications, I can add notifications that will send to those learners to remind them of their due date. It can also be set up to let them know that this has been assigned to them. So when you first assign it, it could send them an email. Any sort of notifications that you want emailed to learners regarding this particular learning path can be set here. Now, once I've assigned my learning path, I've looked at these courses, and I've got everything set up the way I want. This is a nice time to jump into our reports. So we do have reporting that's pre-built for you, where you can just see high-level overview. It does have some dashboards available for you here. You can filter by longer time frame. You can set up if you want to see accounts that are disabled or not, things of that nature. I can see my most and least active content. I can see the learner usage, content views, total content started, total content completed by a particular learner. It really gives me a quick high-level overview, as well as learner usage details. I can always download any data that's in the system. Very nice and easy to do for me here. I can also create my own reports. So it will give you a prompt depending on what kind of information you're looking for. And then you can jump in and start building that. You can customize the fields that are there. You can customize the filters that are being used. So I can add a new field and I can have it filter in various ways to get the information that I'm looking for. These reports also can be downloaded, but I can also save them to my dashboards or create various dashboards or looks. I can save them there so that every time I come into the system, my reports are already built and ready for me to look at. So if I want to know how much time learners have spent in a particular course, again, these are fields that I can pull in. This makes it much easier. I can also pull reports, but this is a quicker way for me to get all of that information in one spot, depending on what I'm looking for. So again, these will run. I can save them and get a lot of information on my learners here. I can quickly see how much time they've been spending in courses by simply adding that new field. Now, the one feature that comes with your CR Institute package is our ABA Knowledge Builder content. So if we hop into courses here, I'm going to look at that from an admin perspective. I'm going to say ABA Knowledge Builder. You will have access to the BCBA, BCABA, as well as the RBT Knowledge Builder. When I click into that, I'm going to go ahead and look at it in preview mode. And I'm going to jump right into our application. What the learners will have access to is to our SAFMEDs, which are our cards to build fluency in ABA definitions, concepts, and examples, as well as our mock exams. We currently have 1,300 SAFMEDs built out, or a little over 1,300 SAFMEDs built out for 6th edition, as well as over 3,000 mock exam questions for 6th edition. What we will see here when the learners log in is that they have an ability to go into their decks that they're working on, and they can select if they want to do a timing or if they want to put it in study mode. Timing's obviously working on building that fluency, and we'll chart on the standard acceleration chart for them. Study mode is untimed and there's no data. If I'm going to do a timing here, I will see my definition. I will flip it over and I will read the answer. When I'm reading the definition, I will decide if I got it correct or incorrect. In an escape contingency, a response terminates a what? And the learner is going to fill that in. They'll flip the card and decide if they got it correct or incorrect. Can view my deck report here so I can look at if I'm getting closer to my aim line in meeting fluency or if I need to continue to work. I can see my best of day as well as all results because the students are typically doing multiple timings per day. And then they can print out those results if they want to share them with a professor or with a supervisor or someone of that nature. They can hop over to their mock exams. They have unlimited attempts. As I mentioned, there's over 3,000 mock exam questions that our bank is pulling from. So they are getting different questions in a different order every time they take the exam. There is going to be a little questionnaire here for them. They can skip that. They can alter the number of questions that are given. So if they don't have time to do all of the questions in one setting, or their supervisor has asked them to take so many questions on a certain cadence or something like that, it can be adjusted. I'm going to start this, and you can see here it is set up to look very similar to what they're going to see when they take their BCBA exam, or for the RBTs, same thing. They can flag questions. They can come back to them. We are going to quickly respond to these questions and go to our results page. I can say, yes, I'm finished, and finish that out. When I do, I'm going to get my results here. This can also be printed out for supervisors so they can see all of the details on their results. I'm going to see how I did in each topic area based on concept and application questions that are given to me. I will then see my detailed results, which is one of my favorite parts. I can really break it down and see which question, which checklist item the questions were given to me on and how I performed in each of those, so I know where I want to focus in my studies. This will then guide them into a course where they can take further training on any of the task list areas. They can do it based on their results, or if they want to just come in and take content, they can do that as well. When they do, it's going to give them the courses and it's going to take them through a full training. So they'll do another pre-test. Maybe they were only given one question from that task list area and they actually do have a really good understanding of it. That wasn't represented in their mock because they did a short mock or something like that. They can retake it. They'll do a pre-test here. They have some content that they can go through in a short video. They'll have Cooper reading recommendations. They'll have some interactive activities that they can go through. They'll have access to study group recordings that have been recorded in this particular task list area. And then they will have some exam questions. These are very great questions. The students really love these because they're given very detailed feedback when they answer these as to why their question was correct or incorrect, or why their answer rather was correct or incorrect. Then they'll take another final test on this particular task list area. A very thorough supplement to just going through the mocks, really getting them training in each of the task list areas. All questions that are provided in this are completely separate from what they'll see in their mock exams to make sure we're really teaching to comprehension rather than them memorizing the few questions that we're giving them. So that shows you a little bit about what Knowledge Builder looks like. Let's go ahead and hop over into the learner side of the platform. So what the learners are going to see here is they're going to see content that's available to them, how much content they've started, completed, any certificates that have been awarded. They will see here on their dashboard. They're only going to see what you make accessible to them. So based on what you put in that sublicense or what you directly assign to them. So if we're looking at our 40-hour RBT, for example, we can see how that course is set up. So if I go into my RBT course, for example, I have some information for them on how to complete the course. They have some access to guided notes here. They have a short video, and then they do have a little self-check quiz. We present a little bit of information. It may be in the form of videos, live action videos, animated videos. It may be interactive activities that they're going through, but then they'll be given a little bit of information, a self-check quiz. And you can see here, I do have to complete the material before I can move forward. The learners can take notes. They can complete any activities that are associated with this particular training that they're in. And then they can also use our quiz builder feature if they'd like, which allows them to build one single quiz from all their unanswered or incorrect questions from previous attempts. And so they can practice with the quiz questions that are given to them. They will also have a test that's included at the end of every course. Those are cumulative as they go through the sequence and all available for them to navigate through here. So the learners can go through those trainings. They can go into learning paths that maybe have been assigned to them and take that content as well. And then they can see any certificates that have been awarded to them here. And really pretty easy for them to navigate and a nice user experience for them here. And so that is our quick demonstration of CR Institute. We hope you enjoyed.